I cannot believe that I got all of these. Plus these on my face. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is from my son. He gave me this for Christmas this year. And he gave it to me early because he knew I could use it, which I think translates for him into I want her to use it as soon as she can. So it's a little gingerbread guy with a nice green tie and all that. I do have to use a thing to hold it up because the white and red handle is apparently hollow, so it is feeling kind of hot, and I didn't want to burn myself bringing it up. It also has a little bit of green on the handle too, and I want to show you that, but I don't want to burn my fingers in the process. Anyway, in our gingerbread man cup is the Kitten Vanilla Bliss Rooibos. This is another old Sips by. As I mentioned, I think hopefully you've seen it by now. My stash teas have lost their flavor. And they weren't very strong to begin with, so they've gotten old and they've gotten stale, I guess. So we're trying to get through some of the Sips by teas before they do the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and give this a sip and we will get started. Got to wrap that handle again, protect me. Ooh, she is just hot. This is not, I suspect this mug is going to go up and be a decorator mug. I have several of these that are decorator mugs. The top part goes in too far to drink much, and this one is just, I can't imagine trying to drink tea out of this on a regular basis and having to use other items just to be able to drink your tea. But for our purpose today, it will work. Already getting some of the Rooibos flavor. I think that'll be fine by the time we get to the end of this. As you know, with these get ready with me type videos, we are on here actually letting it steep a little bit less than usual. So, but I think that'll be fine. I can already taste some of the Rooibos. I don't taste the vanilla yet. It is sweet, but I put sugar in my tea. So anyway, so today we are going to talk about that big, huge stack of palettes and things that you saw in my little opening, because we are going to talk about my favorite palettes of 2022. But rather than doing what most people do and ranking the palettes, you know, 1 through 10 or whatever, I thought I would just put them on and get ready with you using the favorite palettes. How I got all this stuff on my face, I will never know. There are some issues that we will discuss at the end. However, if you are interested in what my favorite palettes are and don't want to cheat by looking below, and you're interested in this look, just keep on watching. So I'm looking at this big pile and hoping that I can indeed use each one of these palettes. It'll probably be just one shade from each because there's a lot. We're going to go ahead and get started. So these are my favorite palettes. They're not in any particular order than the order of going on my face rather than numbering 1 through 10. And in some cases, it's probably a good idea because I'm not sure I could pick which one was my first favorite. Some of them I've had longer, and there's actually another palette I had hoped to have in here, but it hasn't even shipped yet. So Christmas present is still not here. We are going to go ahead and start with a Nomad palette. You guys knew at least one Nomad palette would appear on this list. I'm pulling you closer. But as I was saying, you guys knew at least one Nomad palette would appear on this list. There actually are two. The first one is the Paradise Islands. And, gee, I wonder why. Usual Nomad quality. We're going to use this color, Bora Bora, under the brow. But these are the usual Nomad quality. I was really surprised that the Christmas palette didn't have that same quality to it. I was surprised and very disappointed. But this palette was one of the ones that came earlier in the year. Did you come in the summer or towards the fall? I think there's this one, Monteverde, and then the Harvest one that all came out. Run right after the other. Also the Provincial, the French one. But this is one of the ones that I enjoy. I actually enjoy Nomad in general. I need to pick up, I think they just started doing lip glosses and stuff. And I think I need to start doing, trying one of those. I have one of their face palettes as well. So in general, Nomad is a favorite brand. The formulas are usually very, very good. You can see that under there. It's a very pale pink, so of course it's not going to show up hugely on my skin. But she's a very pretty color. The palette overall is wonderful. I love the color story. This is a palette that you could very easily make looks without having to use much else. It's got some nice lighter shades. It's got some darker shades. It's got some mattes. It's got some shimmers. It's got all the things. And like I said, the quality is obviously quite good. I really, really do enjoy these palettes. And this one I saw and just was, gotta have it. Gotta have it. So was my other one on the list. Gotta have it. Of course, I have to say I'm like that with most of the palettes. But as you can see, you have a nice row of light colors. You've got a number of medium colors. You've got some dark shades. You can make a very beautiful, colorful look with this palette. So that is number one, the Paradise Islands palette. Very beautiful. The stuff, the proceeds, some of the proceeds to this went to one of the various habitats that habitat charities that they send money to. So this was a very nice one to also have for that reason. So the next two on our list are not actually palettes. That is the Lorella Diamond Shadows and the MOIRA Star Shows. These are beautiful. I do like the Star Shows a little bit more than the Lorellas, but they both are very beautiful and work very, very well. They do have about the standard kind of staying power on my eyes, but because it's pretty standard, you all know I don't hold that kind of shit against anybody. My inner corners are just a mess. I should have gotten this a little damp. Just a little damp. Let's get this just a little damp. I'm working with the Lorella right now. The Lorella is a bit chunkier. It needs a little bit more help to be put on the eye than the MOIRA. But as you can see, beautiful shine. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I know I am actually filming this during the holiday season, but this will not be a holiday look. I have no idea when this is going to go up. Hopefully sometime in December. But there. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do the other. We're going to do the MOIRA real quick, and then I will switch and do the other eye. So the MOIRAs actually work really well with, I think this is one of the ones that, this might have been the one that fell. But the MOIRAs work really well with just a regular brush. And you can get that brush wet or not. You can use a soft brush, a hard brush. It doesn't seem to matter. The MOIRAs are very, very versatile. They're beautiful, which is why I love them so much. I'm going to go ahead and get this wet. But they pick up easy. They apply easy. They're highly pigmented. These are probably closer to pigments in a way than the Lorellas, I think, because of the way they apply. And you can do them with or without setting spray. I have not used this particular color yet. She is pretty. I'm going to go all the way across with this one. They are blendable. They work with, I have used them over or blending into other shadows, and I have not had any issues with these. I'm having a little issue with this one, but that might be because this is the one I think that fell and broke. We talked about that, I think, in when I think I posted that particular try on, and I talked about that. But as you can see, it is a beautiful color. I'm gonna have all these light pinks on here. We are going very light. We go to about there. Now I am hoping that MOIRA comes up with some more colors. One of the things that I've noticed that Lorella has that MOIRA doesn't at this point is some deeper, really deeper, darker shade of red, and some beautiful icy colors. But that said, quite obviously, they're a very beautiful shadow. All right, so I'm going to go and do the other eye, and then we'll come back and work on the next palette, which is sitting right here waiting for me. So it's a really cold day. My heater is going. It's going to be popping on and off all through this, so I hope you will forgive that. Anyway, one of the other things I wanted to note about these pots, as anybody who has been on the channel for any length of time knows, I am not a big fan of individual shadows. However, unlike some of the pigments and things that I've had in the past, I do reach for these. I have gotten like individual shadow pots from my Ipsy before, and I would like, there was one that was purple that was absolutely gorgeous, but I never reached for it. And I haven't reached for, I ended up buying some individual estates. I never reached for those, even though I love estate. I don't know what it is about these. The estates were regular eyeshadows, but the pigment pots, I think part of the problem is that they're this loose powder that can fluff and fly everywhere, whereas with these, for the most part, they stay in the pot. I don't have to worry about them flying all over everywhere, although there is some fallout. All right, so next is actually a newer palette, and I don't think anybody's going to be surprised, but that is the Glaminatrix Glamorous palette. I saw this palette and absolutely fell in love with these beautiful bright jewel tones. Now, you know, this was the second part of a two-part birthday present, and the other one was actually called something jewels, and I noted that I was really kind of surprised that the colors weren't as bright and vibrant as I would expect jewels to be. This one actually has the jewel tones in it, and it is absolutely beautiful, and the mattes and the shimmers are amazing. Let's see, what am I going to use? I think, well, we got to do it. I think I'm going to go ahead with this matte purple Regal and put it in this outer corner. I'm only using one color from each palette, so can't use it later. So we're going to pick some of that up. As you can, this stuff just is, it's astonishing. I'm going to pat this in and build her up. One of the things that I do like about this palette a lot is that the colors tend to stay true to the pan. This, I'm building it up to that nice depth of color that is in the pan. But even as a lighter shade, that color isn't too far from the mark. So it is nice to have, you know, purples and reds and pinks that are true to what you see in the pan. I think we all get kind of frustrated when our colors do not stay true to what's in the pan, because you buy based on the pan, right? On the colors you see in the pan. And this one does it. This one stays true. They don't go, so like this is a very bluey purple and it stays a bluey purple. It didn't go pink on me, which is really, really nice. I really appreciate that. So this one became a favorite very, very quickly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give it up when it's time to shop my stash for January. Can you all believe that? January. Right around the corner. So the next two palettes are both ColourPop palettes, and I have to say, I do not know if they were released this year. I could probably look it up, but I probably won't. And I cannot remember if I got them this year. I am actually pretty sure that the first one, which is a biop, that I started last year. But I think I finalized it this year when I did my declutter, and I pulled some shades out from a couple of the pans in that, a couple of the biops in that declutter, and I swapped them out with a few in here. And that first one is the my rainbow biop that I created. She is just beautiful. She's absolutely gorgeous. And I am trying to think what to do here. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Okay, so we started with a very pale pink up here. I think we've leaned pink and purple above. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know how I normally do two colors up here? I think I'm going to go ahead and take this color, which is called, pull this out. This is Hold Me Down, and it's metallic, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to use that for the part in our crease that I didn't do this time. Let me find a brush. Here we go. ColourPop, when I first tried them, did not impress me. Especially, I had my Christmas palette, I think, is about the time things started to change. But even then, there was like a couple of blues or something in there. They were hard, they were dry. And so it was honestly kind of surprising that I gave them another shot. And I think one of the reasons I gave them the next shot was because of the opportunity to create my own palettes. So we're going to put that up there like that. As you can see, that just swiped right on. It's beautiful, beautiful. Going from peaches to pinks and purples. I think I'm hoping that this final palette has a blue or something that I can use in it. I can't remember. I think it has one. But there. Pretty. That's pretty, pretty. All right, and the second palette probably won't surprise anyone because after I got it, it took me a long time to put it away. It really, really did. And that is the ColourPop Fade into Hue. This is another rainbow with lots of beautiful colors. Probably should have dragged a color out of here. But instead of dragging a color out of here for in there, I am stuck. I'm sure you guys aren't at all surprised by that. I think we're going to put a little bit of this prismatic glitter over the color in the center of my eye. All right, so we're going to use some of this prismatic glitter. Come here. It came right up. Now, I'm not big on chunky glitters, and I think my only complaint with ColourPop is that they have some rather. I'm just going to put it over the second half and blend it into the purple a bit. You're not going to see much of it. It is definitely slightly darker, but melding into that color I already have on there. Just like that, we're going to do that. And it's giving us a more of a purple, more purple and pinky sparkles. Well, not getting rid of that color. It's a small detail, something people probably wouldn't notice, but I notice these things all the time. At any rate, for a long time, I had a difficult time putting this away. I really, really did. I absolutely adored this palette, and she's beautiful. And I just could not put it away for the longest time. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye for those two shades, and then we'll be back. We are almost done. I may have to actually pick one more shade out of another palette, or maybe out of a pot. What do you think? We'll be back. All right, so the next palette is my other Nomad, and that is the Bosque Nuboso de Monteverde, or the Monteverde palette. This palette is so nice. I love the colors. It works very well with the Paradise palette in that it has some deeper, more saturated colors. It's the same beautiful formula. And we are going to use some of this color, Blue Morpho, to do the whole pointy, creasy thing that I do. Pointy, creasy thing, as everybody goes, what pointy, creasy thing? Most of you know the pointy, creasy thing. We're just trying to get a little bit, this is beautiful in its pinks, but we're going to try to get a little bit more color in there. So this palette was another palette that I saw, and I still have the cutout, cover that clearly shows the sloth and a few other things. The toucan, I believe, is shown on there. I have it down where I can't get to it right now, but I did keep the cover on this. I don't normally do that, but that cover was so cute for this palette. So as you can see, she is like the other palettes. She is quite pigmented. We're going to do a third stripe under here. Well, that changed the look quite a bit, didn't it? Which is okay. Which is okay. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. We are going to have to redo our application up here because I've gotten a little sloppy with my brush. And I'm going over that peach, and I want to make sure that peach shows up on its own. And it's not bad. That's not bad. We do need to, I do think we need to, as things fall over, because it's me, if it didn't fall over or fall down, well, come here. I have stuff about to hit the floor. There we go. Got it. All right, so I'm going to take one of my buffing brushes, if I can find the damn things. There, I guess we'll just do this one. I'm going to take the buffing brush and just run it along this edge. I might apply some more of that ColourPop right above this blue. I am fading out the blue just a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do. She's a bit dark. That's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind. Yeah, we're gonna have to take some more of the colors from below the brow and reapply them. But now that that is all smoked out, and I will probably also fix in here and under here. Okay, so that is this palette again. Another beautiful pigmented palette from Nomad. I've loved pretty much all of their palettes this year except two. One was the their Christmas release this year. It just didn't work for me. And the other one, I'm still trying to decide how I feel about it 100%, and that would be the Paris palette. And I haven't decided how I feel about that 100%. Maybe I should have kept it fully pink. You guys have to let me know down below. But we're going to move on to the next palette. I'm going to keep this here. Don't fall over. The next palette should also be no surprise, and that is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Primal. Another gorgeous palette. I actually really love this shimmer row, but that's not what we're going to play with today. We're going to grab this purple right here and deepen that crease part just a bit. This is another palette that's high pigment, and these are actually so easy to work with, and they're so pretty. They really, really are. They're beautiful shimmers. Find a brush. Okay, so, and this is another palette where I think the purples tend to stay true to the pan. We may not notice that so much in here, but we're going to throw that purple in. As you can see, she's darker than the pinky purple we have here, which is what we wanted. We want that crease to be dark. And it didn't go, it didn't turn pink on its own. A lot of purples turn pink when they're used. This palette, this color actually started slightly on the pinky end, but it didn't change from the pan color. And this one doesn't either. It is absolutely beautiful. It's another one that's absolutely gorgeous. And there we've got some deep color. It's beautiful. There we go. It's a little messy right now. It will fix. I'm going to go just a little bit higher on above my lid. This is slightly above the crease because I have hooded eyes, and nothing I show in my crease is actually going to show up. All right, so those are the actual eyeshadow palettes. I have one palette that's not an eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to go finish this look. I'm going to go fix all this up, finish the look, and put on the rest of my face and all the stuff that I need to do before I use this other palette, and then we'll be back. And now I'm ready to show you my last favorite palette of the year, and that is the Ace Beauté Glow Essentials Highlighter Palette. I adore this palette. There are no really weird colors. I mean, the pink can be considered kind of weird, and I do believe this one gives a purple when it's on the skin, but I like lavender. And the pink doesn't bother me so much. But there's no green, there's no blue, there's none of those colors. And these are gorgeous and shiny. And it's a beautiful palette. So I am actually going to use the pink because we had stuff happen here that removed a lot of my pink. So we're going to go ahead and use the pink highlighter. And I am using my Alamar, what do you call this? Wet Shine Highlighter Brush. I wanted a smaller, slightly smaller brush tip than what I normally use for my highlighter. And we're just going to go in little circles. And it is a controllable highlighter, which is really nice. I've got my hair in the way. Kept it up so it wouldn't get in the way. That's getting in the way. But anyway, it's a controllable highlighter. You can build it up. You can leave it at a much more subtle glow if you want. Even the subtle glow isn't that subtle though. I want to shine. I want to shine. I want to shine. I hope you all can see that. It is beautiful, 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 beautiful. Beautiful. And the other colors are just as gorgeous. I've also found that they blend together very well. So if I really wanted to, in fact, I might just do that. I'm going to try to throw a little bit of the lighter gold on here. Isn't that pretty? So we're going to take some of this lighter gold called Glowing, and we're going to just dust a little bit of that, like over the top. subtly changes that color a little bit. It's still pink. It also has more of a rose gold kind of look now. As you can see too, the shine has built up beautifully. Absolutely gorgeous. Took me forever to take this out of my stash, and I have to remind myself I have to use other things when I want to bring it back into the stash. But I absolutely love this highlighter palette, and honestly, if I had to give all but one of my highlighter things away, this would be the one I would keep. It's absolutely astonishing. So beautiful, beautiful. All right, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go finish the rest of this, and then we will come back and we will talk about the whole look. We will review the palettes again real quickly, and we will discuss what kind of happened here. Be back in a minute. Okay, so this is the look. Let me kind of lean in so you can take a look. I think my inner corners are already starting to fall apart. Again, as with palettes, I don't hold that against any of the shadow pots. It is my eyes. It really is. Everything works everywhere else. I use like a foundation concealer. I use my primer, and I actually also use some setting spray over that, and I use powder. All of that should have it set in place. It is just the way the inner corners of my eyes are. So for that, I apologize. We're going to bring you a little closer so I don't have to lean in too far, and then you guys can take a look at this look. All right, so some notes before we get into all the rest of this. The top did end up very purple, and I suspect what I should have done, instead of using a really wide buffer like this, I should have used something smaller, maybe something like that, to buff out those edges so that they weren't so sharp, which is what I wanted. That said, I'm honestly not that mad at it. I kind of like having the bright pinks in the middle with this purple around them, and the shade that I got in here, I mean, you can't even see the individual shades at this point. The blue is just melded into the purples and the pinks that were there. You can't even really see that there's a separate blue in there, and yet without it, we would not have that color. So, I'm not mad at the way it showed up. Now, I did do one thing to try to lighten up underneath the brow. One of the palettes has a white in it, and I went ahead and put a couple layers of white just directly under the brow to lighten that up, because the whole lid, the whole area between my crease and my brow had darkened to a purple that was just a little dark to me. I actually really did like the way the pink was coming out. Obviously that did not quite work out the way it started. It never does with me, but I'm not mad at it. I think it's a very pretty look. So let's get on about some of the things that are what I used. So first of all, the pots, as you all know, I love the pots. I do find the MOIRAs work better. These are flakier, a little drier. And while you can get them to pick up with a brush, you have to use a hard bristled brush like your usual Luxies. Let me pull this one up. Like the Luxies like this. You have to use that kind of brush to pick them up, and it should be wet. The MOIRAs, you can use wet, dry, you can use almost any kind of brush on them. They're a little less flaky. This one was a little problematic. I think this is the one that fell and broke when I did the MOIRA Star Show, I should say, look, where I introduced these and talked about these specifically. But these do just fine with a wet brush, but it has to be a hard brush. They are flakier. They both do have a little fallout. This one has, the L'Oreal's has more than the MOIRA, but they're both amazing formulas, and I love them. And as I mentioned before, I don't tend to use singles very much, and yet I am gravitating to these a lot of late. All right, the palettes. The easiest one to talk about is the Glow Lighter, which was the last one, the Glow Lighter. The Ace Beauty Glow Essentials. I adore it. I adore it. As you can see that it's a beautiful shine. I think the colors are fairly... the only color that would be considered sort of out of the norm for me is the pink one. This one is the one that casts purple, I believe. So there is a lavender in here. She's kind of a pinky lavender, but she's beautiful. And I have no problems with wearing a lavender because I've actually got lavender highlighters that I truly enjoy. And I have NYX to thank for that because they used to have a beautiful highlighter palette that did have a purple in it. I'm not into green or blue or true yellow or true orange. I do like the more bronzy and gold, but I will wear the pink and the purple upon occasion. This is a gorgeous palette, and this silver white is also, it's also beautiful. I'm going to show this one to you too. As you can see, she is also gorgeous. They're both absolutely beautiful. They work, all of them are absolutely beautiful. They wouldn't be my favorites. And they work both on the cheek and the eyes, and they're just gorgeous. All right, all the palettes. I'm going to talk about the ColourPop ones first. So I think the ColourPop Biop palette is kind of a cheat, because I did build this, and I'm not going to list all 24 or whatever shades this is down below. So if you're interested in a particular shade, you're just going to have to try to figure out a way to express to me which one you're interested in, and I'll be glad to pick it up and take a look and find out which shade it is for you, and you can see if it's still available. I do think I started building this last year, but I think I actually completed it this year, and I think one or two of the shades actually have come out of a couple of other biops that I ended up getting rid of in my declutter. I do think it's a bit of a cheat, but at the same time gives you an idea of what kind of ColourPop Biop you can do. I don't know if they have all these shades, like I said, but if you want a rainbow palette, you can create your own rainbow palette. But it's really nice to be able to build your own and to fall in love with it and like using it. The Fade Into Hue is another one. I am not absolutely positive I got it this year. I do know in the beginning of the year, if I did get it last year, at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I was using it a lot, and I was having a hard time putting it away because it's another beautiful rainbow palette. And in this case, the colors are lighter. They're compared to my Biop, a lot of these colors are a little more on the pale side, almost pastel, but not quite. A couple of them are, a couple of them aren't, but they're not. There's more vibrancy in the ones that I got in the Biop. There's a few in the Fade Into Hue that are vibrant, but not that many. So these two palettes work really well. They give me all the shades that I need in terms of a rainbow, and yeah, I have a hard time putting them away when they're out. Let's talk about the two older palettes that are left, and that is the Nomads. These should not have been much of a surprise. In fact, if anything that should be a surprise is that there's not more on this list. I really did like some of the other palettes that came out this year. I enjoyed the one for the farm. The name is escaping me now. I think I put it away. I also really enjoyed the America's Parks one. That one has one shade in it that is absolutely the bomb, and I had a hard time putting it away for a while. And the only reason these two got to put away at all this year was because we went into fall, and these are more summery palettes to me. However, they work together just amazingly well, and more than likely in the future, when I bring one out, the other one will come out as well. The colors are very complementary. They're both very tropical, and but one has some brights that the other doesn't have, and the other has brights that the first one doesn't have. And the Paradise has this nice row of lighter colors that can go under the brow, whereas the Monteverde has all these dark, bold colors. So these two palettes work very well together. I am very pleased with them, and they quickly shot up to my favorite palettes amongst all of my Nomad palettes. And I have quite a few still. Y'all know, I don't know if y'all know, I went back and actually took one of the palettes that I put into the declutter box and took it back out. So 2 more palettes to go. These 2 are both relatively new, but I ended up really liking them right away. The quality is really great. Blend Bunny Primal. I do believe this is still up on their site. I think all of the palettes that I've shown you are still available. The only one I don't know for sure is the Fade into Hue, because I do think they had a sale on it at one point, but they also came out with a matte version this year. So I'm not sure if it's still up there, but it should be. The Biop, there might be individual shades that are no longer available. But the Primal, I think, is one of their permanent palettes. My favorite row, obviously, is this shimmery row. These are amazing. These are astonishing, honestly. Again, it's something you can use with a brush or your finger or a sponge tip. As you can see, they are just gorgeous. They're beautiful. And I did use this one on the underside of my eye tonight. Absolutely beautiful. And when I first got it, I could not leave this gold alone. Amazing gold. I have other amazing golds, but in here, this one just blew me away, and I just really enjoy it on my lids. The mattes. Most of you know I'm not a matte girl, but these mattes are absolutely beautiful. They're astonishing. They work very well. You saw how well that purple went in, and they blend also beautifully. Oh, I've got little scatters all over here. They blend really well. They mix well with other brands of shadows, and they're great. The white, like I said, I had to do several layers. It is not nearly as opaque as I would like it to be, but I have noticed that I have that issue with a lot of whites in most palettes anyway. Great palette. I know this and the Glaminatrix are both a little on the higher end, but they are both well worth the price. The Glaminatrix is also brand new. This is newer than the Primal. I adore this. I adore this. And the mattes on this one are also very good. These 2 palettes could turn me into a matte girl. That's how good they are. They're some of the best I've seen. And I just love it. Again, you have some really nice shimmer shades. These are nice and soft. They're very beautiful. That one looks like it's more of a topper. But I have played around with a number of these. Hold, please. I have played around with a number of these. I haven't used that light green very much, I don't think. I have used this beautiful dark blue and this dark purple you saw me use today. And I have used this maroon. Just amazing, amazing colors. So we're going to just... Ooh. Look at these. Look at these. Just astonishing. And it's no wonder that they became like a favorite palette. And just like the pots, these I have found don't necessarily need a sponge. You can use your fingers. You can use a brush to some degree. I do think that they do need a stiff bristle brush. You cannot just use, you can't really use a soft brush with these particular shimmers, but they're gorgeous. And as you can see, everybody has some staying power. Beautiful, beautiful. A couple of them have more staying power than others. Some of them do not want to go away. It's like, no, I'm going to stay. I want to leave a shadow of myself behind. But some of that is also because they're pigments as well. So, Anyway, so those are my favorite palettes for the year of 2022. You will have to let me know down below what became some of your favorite palettes of 2022. And are you interested in trying any of the ones that I showed you and used tonight for this look? And that's it. That's it for the day. I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen and you have not yet subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. When you subscribe, please hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload 3 days a week. That is Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. However, we do have bonus videos, which at this point will most likely usually go up on a Wednesday. That seems to be a nice middling spot between Monday and Thursday. Have to be Tuesday or Wednesday, but that seems to be a nice little spot on Wednesdays. So just keep an eye out for those, or like I said, click the bell. And also you could click the bell for all of our regular videos. We do have food that comes up on here, and you know, we've got unboxings, and we have the Get Ready With Me's, and we discuss new indie makeup on Mondays. Lots of things going on this channel. So if you would like to know when any of our videos go up, just have that bell click so that it can give you a reminder when you come up on YouTube. If you're part of my notification squad, please check both your bell and your subscription to make sure they are both still active. If you choose not to subscribe, well, I would be sad and disappointed. However, you are always welcome here. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. Yeah, she cooled down enough for me to actually hold her. And there's the handle. It's so cute. It really is. It's a very cute coffee mug. It really is. But the fact that the handle fills up and gets really hot, that's an issue. I can kind of work around the top being in like that and being a little more difficult to drink out of, but a hot handle is a little harder to work around. Anyway, let's go ahead and give her another sip. She should be completely ready to see if she is full strength, and then we'll be on our way. It's nice. I don't know if I would repurchase it, but that is a very nice tea. It'll be linked down below just like everything else. And that's it. Hope you have a good one.